Hello, Sex Coach Nikki here, and I am excited to be doing this Facebook Live today. It is my birthday. I am the big 4-0 today. Woo! I am definitely on the lookout for any messages or insights, inspirations I might get today. I got a huge one last year on my birthday about my health, and I totally took action on it and released 50 pounds over the course of last year. So I definitely know that birthday insights can be very powerful. My whole desire was being healthy, and I don't know for sure what is going to come up for me today. It is going to have something to do around being happy and feeling good. All right, hence the topic of today. First of all, I want to welcome you onto the Facebook Live. If you are watching this on a replay, please put in the comments below replay. There is a thing, if you're watching it on my story and you make a comment, the comment only goes to my inbox, which is fine. I will happily read your comment in my inbox. It just won't show up on the actual video in my feed. So if you want to support my video getting seen by other people, then please do make a comment in my feed. I know it's like a few extra steps and extra clicks. So it's totally up to you. If that's up your alley to do that extra work, I totally appreciate it. If not, I get it. Sometimes it's just too much is too much, right? But I did want to let you know that is something I found out about these Facebook Lives. All right. For those of you who might not know me, I'm a sex coach. I am passionate about great sex, both in quantity and quality. And I love teaching everything around that. Usually I go more into anatomy and physiology. However, I have been really wanting to share some of my information about time management, mindset stuff. This could be applied to any area of your life, honestly. Most of these techniques I learned either being a salesperson in direct sales and network marketing, or from the 12-step program I used to belong to. So there's certain universal principles that are helpful under any circumstances. You just have to be open-minded enough to look at things from a different perspective and see where you can actually apply different things to different areas of your life. All right. So what we're going to talk about specifically today is, first of all, prioritizing feeling good. Second of all, creating a schedule. That's going to be an interesting thing. And then the third one is getting support for your goals. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be talking about. And I would just ask again, if you are watching on the replay, put replay. And I also still want to say thank you for those that are here and acknowledge you. Thank you, Jen. I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight. I'm having a big birthday party. Hi, Ona. I'm looking at... Oh, thank you, Ona. Yes, finding peace, finding happiness. Well, I just started reading this book. This is an interesting thing. I just started reading this book on becoming an alchemist, and it does talk about how you might start out looking for one result, and then your journey on finding that result leads to something completely unexpected, but that's the gold. Right? That's taking that base desire, putting it through whatever changes you make internally, and then the gold that comes out. So I thank you for sharing that for sure. I can totally relate. And that's kind of what, one thing I was learning about this in this past year is like, I want to be healthy, but to what extent are all the lifestyle changes affecting my life or making it harder to be happy? And that's kind of where I'm looking for that flow. I don't generally look for balance. I look more for flow. So that's where I am with that. All right. I'm going to say something a little different now. If you feel like you could use more good stuff, pleasure, joy, and being in a flow state in your life, please drop an emoji in the comments below. I would love to see, I love seeing animal emojis and stars and flowers. I like the little emojis, and I'm way new to the emoji game. So if you have an emoji that's not well known, please go ahead and drop it in there, and I'll get a chance to learn some new emojis. All right. Again, if you feel like you could use more good feeling, pleasure, flow state, all the good stuff, then please drop an emoji in the comment section below. So on that note, let's talk about feeling good. And what does that mean for you? It means different things for different people, and you kind of almost have to have an internal measure on a scale of like 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. And I actually found an emotion tracker in the Play Store. So I do check in and I look at my emotions. And it's only once you become mindful to see what is happening that you can get a baseline for making any changes and making things better. If this means you need to start taking a little note on your phone or in a journal, then do it. And the other thing is, these things I'm going to be recommending, they're not forever. You could try for 30 days, which I'm actually quite tempted for myself for these 30 days to every night do my routine and do my journaling. There have been times in my life where I have done that every night, review my day, or the next morning I review the previous day. And there is nothing like taking that stock on a daily basis. And no, you don't have to do it forever, but it is very helpful to have that tool in your back pocket so that when things are not going well, you know how to look and see where is the source of the problem. If you're never checking in to see if you're even happy, then how are you going to know where you want to go? It is also good to use your happiness quotient or your feel-good level as another marker for how good you're doing in your life. My point with this one is, so many of us are really trained and indoctrinated to be productive and very production oriented. And this has definitely worked for our society. We have, great production in our society, and it's all about how much money are you making? How many things are you consuming? What are you doing? And it's about being a human doing. And it's not bad. It's just bad when it's to the extreme. So making sure to take a break and look at feeling good, and maybe even, like, I just heard this one really good friend of mine talking about judging herself more on how happy she's making other people rather than how productive she's being. And that, looking at it from a different perspective and valuing a different thing, can make a world of difference, and adopting a new way of thinking. And, they always say like, oh, no one on their deathbed said they wish they made more money. And I think that's probably highly likely. If I was to die today, I wouldn't say, oh, I wish I made more money. I would wish that I had made a bigger impact on the world and that I had helped more people. So I think asking those kinds of questions are really important. And you're not necessarily less productive just because you're not making the dollars. It is more about what is your passion and what kind of a legacy you want to experience and possibly even leave behind. I know a lot of people don't give a shit about leaving anything behind. I personally feel like I want to create and leave a legacy and leave the world a better place when I'm done. So, looking at what I can do on a daily basis that's going to make me feel good and help others to feel good, that's really important to me. So I would encourage you to see what other kind of metrics you could use besides money and just being productive, So there's that. The other thing about the feeling good is that it is a muscle that needs to be exercised, just like any other muscle on your body or any mental muscle. All right. When I was a kid, I'm sure I did know how to play. I think children are naturally playful. I had a challenging childhood, to say the least, and I was in the mom role from a very young age, from probably starting from like 6 and 7 years old. I was taking care of my little sister who's 4 years younger and my little brother who's 9 years younger when he came along, and my parents were unavailable due to, I have addiction runs in my family and other family issues, right? And I just did not feel like I knew how to play and have fun. And when my daughter was born, I actually learned a lot how to play. I actually had to look for how to do it, and getting down on the ground and talking gibberish and playing with colorful toys. And that was my first conscious thing around play and feeling good. That was back when I was 24 or 25. Then I found out in my studies, when I was learning all about sex and becoming an educator, that the one area where I'm really good at play is in the bedroom with adult things, sexual things. So that is one thing that's my gift in a way, I guess, or one of them is just being open-minded and playful when it comes to sex and exploring and experimenting. So that's why I have my edge that I do. Okay. As I've matured, I've learned to even pick partners who are playful. And even my boyfriend right now, I am playing more than I ever have in my life before. Like, we will actually play a board game. And I had no idea. I mean, it's a muscle that I did not have built, and now I have it built. Like, I could play a game, I can have wordplay, I can actually get interested in a board game and maintain my interest. So a lot of people who don't know how to play, trust me, it is awkward and uncomfortable at first, but it will come. And if you learn how to play, even in that arena of the board game, you can take those skills and transfer them into the bedroom and play in bed for sure. That is one thing I can tell you. So I had to do like the opposite. I had to take the bedroom playfulness and put it out into the board game around the coffee table in the living room. So I'm a little backward there. All right. The other thing is how important it is. I watch a lot of YouTube videos about health and wellness, and I see interviews of doctors and professionals who are teaching us all the ways to eat and breathe and exercise and every other thing we could do for our health. Then at the end of the interview, one of the guys I watch, he always asks the same question. Like, if there was one thing that you could teach, or the most important thing for people to feel better, be healthier, what would it be? And it's almost without exception, they always say to have a social life, to have friends, to feel good and have fun. That is more important than eating right, sleeping right, exercising right, any of these other issues. The most important is the social connections, the social support that we create. And I don't know about you, but I want to be really successful both as an entrepreneur and having influence and everything like I was talking about earlier. Having listened to all those interviews, I have gotten really serious about having fun. I know that's a catchphrase somehow, right? Because I just have made it a priority for my own well-being, my own emotional and mental and physical well-being. So you can actually, even if you're like so worried about money and so worried about getting your needs met, you can totally rationalize and justify social time by knowing that it is actually going to support your health and wellness in the long run to have these connections. Awesome. I have a couple of comments. Thank you, Joel. I appreciate it. Miss you. And yes, Anna, I hear you. I'm there. I'm still learning too. And yes, one-on-one is definitely easier. There's a lot less variables. As you get more and more people, there's more and more variables to account for. I personally like big group events, but they're not necessarily playful to me. So I'm learning how to be more playful and actually have fun in a group. It's a lot easier for me to hide in a group and go into like caretaker, leader, facilitator mode. So that's one reason why I have comfort in events, is because I'm usually the one in charge and I'm on the controller side of I'm the on the dominant side of things, or the leadership side of things. So that's my, my backdoor solution, so to speak. All right. So how are we going to get this fun and this play into our lives? You have to schedule it. It is one of the seemingly most unsexy and unfun things, is having a schedule and a timetable. But I will tell you, it is a tool that will help. And any time that you are trying to put something new into your life, looking at your time management and your schedule management is very helpful. So I started to talk about this yesterday, and I was talking about the Mary Kay plan sheet. And you could probably just like Google Mary Kay weekly plan sheet and find the PDF. That's what I did. So here's a blank one. I'll show you. And again, this is just the best layout I prefer. There's plenty of them out there though, scheduling. And so I did this one for this week. I wanted to show you. I have done some color coding, but the thing is, you don't have to start with color coding. Like in the beginning, color coding was way too much for me. How I was talking about earlier, like if it's too much, then don't worry about it. Just do what you can do. So the first thing I would do is just write out my commitments that were on there. And then I would see what spaces were left. Now, having done this as a practice for years and years, I can use color coding. And I didn't have my highlighters when I made this one, but then I went and I got highlighters. So it's good to do for 2 weeks in advance. And then you can make your changes accordingly. This is mine for next week. And I got highlighters yesterday. So here's that. And as you can see, this is closer to like my ideal week, right? This is like if nothing comes up, nothing unscheduled, nothing unforeseen. Like this is like, if my plan goes the way I made it, then this is what my week will look like. Now, I know that things are going to happen. Like I'll get someone that wants to work with me late at night, and then I'm going to shift everything else the next day down so I can get enough sleep. And that is completely fine. At least going into it, I know to be flexible and open-minded and available for opportunities that might come. but just having and set the intention and to give myself enough space, like to exercise, do my ice baths. And then when I hit my low energy point, I know is usually mid-afternoon. And if I have stuff I'm trying to do, I get frustrated. So I put in there, that's what these pink spots are, is for downtime. And I can consciously use that downtime for anything I want to do. Now, if I am feeling energetic, so this is what happens to me a lot, like, because I have my rebel, right? My rebel is going to say downtime, but I actually want to work now. And then they'll look at the work time and be like, okay, now I want to take a nap. I know this about myself. I'm completely open and happy to accept that about myself. If that's what happens, that is what happens. And part of what I had mentioned earlier of taking that inventory at night is just taking note of how things actually ended up playing out. That's going to be very interesting. I like it. So I think that is a goal I'm going to make for the next 30 days to review my day at the end of the day. And if I'm too tired, then I'll do it the first thing the next morning. So I think that feels really good. Let me know if you want to do it with me, and we could do like a little accountability thing around it. We could even do it on Facebook Messenger if you like. Let me know if that interests you. So that's what I had to say about scheduling it. Even if you could only put it in, now let's say you're brand new to scheduling and all of this, and you're working and your whole schedule is elbows to assholes. That's how it feels to me sometimes. Then just find 1 hour where you could put something in that you think might feel good and feel fun, and just start there. Like, my schedule is very different because I don't have to clock in for anybody, thank God. All right, so let's talk about the last thing, which is getting support. So there is a lot of support out there, and a lot of people are resistant to using it because they make it mean something wrong and something bad. And this is where I really invite people to take a look at what their beliefs are about getting support. If they make it mean something bad, then you will never get the support you need. You really need to see what your beliefs are and possibly even where they come from. Now, a lot of people are ashamed about needing support because they believe it means they are weak because they need help. And, this is something that I think is in our society, that we need to be independent and strong. And I just don't think those beliefs are serving people nowadays. We need help. We need connection with other people. We can't do this on our own. Well, okay, some people can. I would say the majority can't. And that when we try, we suffer. Finding help, finding groups, finding ways to socialize, working through the resistance to getting that to happen is necessary for our well-being as humans. The next level, of course, is getting help in specific areas. And a lot of people will get the help when it comes to business or finance. Those are fine, but then not so much when it comes to sex and relationships and things that are more emotional and intimate. So there's still stigma around this stuff. I really hope that you can look inside yourself and see where you're holding yourself back if this describes you. There are so many free and low-cost resources. There's 12-step programs for almost any kind of problem you could have. And there's even some really general ones that you could go to, even if you don't feel like you have a problem. Like, this is one thing that's out there for most people and not utilized. You could go to a 12-step meeting, go totally anonymous, show up and leave and go once a week and just start building that muscle of not being alone. I think that is like the baby step that I can offer you. Second to that would be going on meetup.com, putting in your interests and seeing what kind of meetups are out there. I have meetups on meetup.com and people find me there all the time talking about sex, sexuality, health, wellness, things to do in Las Vegas, stuff like that. So that's probably the next level. And then the level after that is going more into the intimate sexual realm. And this could be joining like tantra groups, joining sensual and erotic touch or massage groups, or any other kind of education group. Now, those are not as common in every city. Some cities have more than others. Like if you are in San Francisco, you're drowning in them. There's plenty of support and different groups to do any kind of sexual or erotic exploration, education that you want to do. Vegas is more immature, like as far as that goes. There are some groups doing some really good things. If you are interested in kink and fetish type stuff, I definitely recommend that you look up Building Blocks. They're on meetup.com. And there's just like a lot of different resources you have to look for. You just have to be willing to do the work and get out of your comfort zone. And I also have my Facebook group. So the topic for this month and next month is the vulva, the vagina, female ejaculation. And I would love to have anyone join that group to learn more about that in the coming weeks. I'm very excited about that. If none of these feel doable, then maybe you could look at counseling, getting a counselor, because you don't want to be stuck. You know, you want to be able to do the things that are good for you. And if you can't do these things, then maybe counseling is in order, or a coach, a life coach. I do life coaching. Talking about this kind of stuff, it is within my wheelhouse. It just depends on you. I don't really have a lot of experience dealing with people who, excuse me, I have a tickle. I don't have a lot of experience working with people who have histories of a lot of trauma. But the basics, just like the basics, overcoming the basic challenges and resistances, I can definitely help with that. So if you feel like you resonate with me, great. If not, there are so many people online and in person that work with people like you, if that describes you. All right. So that's all the information I want to share with you today. If you feel like you got some benefit out of this video, please do give it a thumbs up, like it, share it. On the upper right hand corner, there's like a little 3 dots, and you can click on that and put the settings so that anytime I go live, you get notified, because I love having people on live, of course. Again, if you're watching the replay, please put replay in the comments. And if you found anything helpful, please let me know and share this video with someone else who could get some benefit from it. All right, make sure that if you do feel like you would like to join my group to learn more about the anatomy and physiology of the vulva and the vagina and female ejaculation, I put that link up in the description, and I would love to have you in there. All right, make it a sexy day.